Good Wednesday morning, Kickstarters, and welcome to Morning Kickstart. I'm excited that you have decided to show up this morning, invest in yourself, and hopefully take something from today's episode and invest in others. My name is Andrew, and I'm your host of Morning Kickstart. I come here every single weekday to help put some positivity and encouragement into your life and hopefully help you even challenge or change your thoughts. So today I want to talk about something that can kind of lead to maybe you feeling a bit weird or maybe you feeling a bit called out, but I believe that in life, that is the way we are supposed to feel at times in order for us to move forward. So today I want to talk about taking charge of your own life. Now, sometimes we get very complacent in life, and I am one as well to get complacent at times. But in order for us to move forward and in order for us to be more and to do more and to affect other people in our circle or maybe our family or friends or colleagues, we need to be able to take charge in our own life in order to help others move forward as well. So we really have to take the reins. We really have to say, I'm in control. This is my life. I'm going to move myself forward. So there's 4 things that I want to talk about today that are going to talk about taking charge in your life and moving forward. The first one that I want to talk about is expanding who you are as a person. So we can look at this in a lot of different topics and a lot of different parts of our life, talking about expanding who we are as a person. But I think the first thing we need to think about before we talk about expanding ourselves as a person is we need to talk about knowing who we are before we decide to work on that. So you've always heard that statement, know thyself. And if we don't know who we are or what we stand for, or maybe the pitfalls that we have in our life or what is going on, how are we supposed to expand who we are? So really think about your life. What do you struggle with? What do you feel like you need to work on? Maybe for you, like it could be for me, is I knew I needed to work on my health. I knew I needed to work on figuring out my purpose and who I was. I knew that I needed to figure out where I wanted to go in life instead of just doing all these different things all of the time. So figure out who you are. And then once you figure that out, you can expand the possibilities of who you are and also your character. So give yourself the availability to let your thoughts expand of the possibilities of who you could actually be. Think about that for a second. Think about expanding your thought process to say, what could I be? Only if I set my mind to it, or only if I did this, what could I be? And then you need to give yourself the opportunity to expand your knowledge. You know, I've talked about it before, but sometimes when we get out of schooling, whether it be high school or college or, even further schooling, we think that the knowledge and the learning kind of stops, but it doesn't. Your life has really just begun and you have so much more learning to do. Wisdom comes from age. The older you get, the more wise you are. I've said it so many times. If I only knew then what I know now, my life would be so different. But you also have to give yourself the opportunity to expand your knowledge. You have to give yourself the opportunity to acquire new skills in life, or maybe even take on that new mindset. Sometimes we are stuck. We are stuck in the rut of our family's mindset, or we are stuck in the rut of our work mindset. Maybe you need to break that. Maybe you need to give yourself the opportunity to have that new mindset. So really think about, when we're looking at taking charge of our life, is expanding who we are as a person. The other thing that I think is really good to take charge of your life is to activate your reward mechanisms, okay? So we have to think about this in a few different ways, because I think it's very good when we're working towards a goal or working towards something in our life that sometimes we think about that long-term goal and it seems like we're never going to get there. So along the journey of that long-term goal, we need to celebrate the small wins that we have, and we need to reward ourselves for those small wins. Now, this doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be, we are working towards this goal and we get that small win, and maybe we decide to go treat ourselves to ice cream, or maybe we decide to go treat ourselves to a movie, or maybe we decide to go treat ourselves to a short weekend vacation. It's good to reward yourself along the way to your large goal in order to hit that large goal. Because if you're constantly working towards that goal, it's going to be really difficult to work, finally hit that big goal, and then reward yourself. And this also kind of keeps your goals and your dreams alive and going, because you're able to be excited and be very, very being fulfilled throughout working towards that goal. Because sometimes when we're working towards this large goal, we just feel like all we're doing is working and we're not getting fulfilled. And when we have these small wins and we're celebrating those, it really helps us move along the way. But though we are celebrating those small wins, I think it's very, very important for us to prioritize the long-term goal. So one of the things that I always think about is the diet analogy. So for me, when we think about dieting, it's a lifestyle change. It's not just one thing that happens very quickly and all of a sudden we're down 50 pounds. It doesn't happen like that. We have to constantly work towards that, and it is a change in our lifestyle. So when we look at the diet analogy, though the fast food hamburger, double cheeseburger with some greasy fries and a Coke is really good, that is a very short-term reward that is not going to be good for us, and it doesn't work towards our long-term goal. So can you celebrate with a cheeseburger? Absolutely, because I have done it. But also understand that you can't do that all the time. So we have to prioritize the long-term goal in order for us to get to it. So we can't let the little things that come up in life ruin our progress towards our long-term goal. And another thing I always think about is investing in real estate, because if you listen to anyone that is investing in real estate, they will tell you over and over again, this is a long game. This is a long game. And I will tell you from experience, it is a long game, but the reward at the end of the road is huge. So we have to prioritize those long-term rewards, but also understand that we need to celebrate along the way to get there. Now, this is probably my favorite one, because I come in contact with people that use this in the wrong way all the time. And if they could switch their mindset on how to move forward and how to work on this, it would change their life. So the third one I want to talk about is having a mature defense mechanism. Listen, we all have things that go on in our life all the time. Detrimental things. I mean, we have deals fall through in real estate. I have deals that I work on, investments that fall through. I've even got things that I'm working on. I'm actually able to see my goals in the background back there. And there's things that I'm like, pitfall. But, we're working towards these things, and how we react to what is going on, or how we are being proactive in being able to have a defense mechanism to the things that are coming at us in life, makes a huge difference in our life. So if we have a conflict, we need to think about, what could I learn from this conflict? Maybe it's self-knowledge. Maybe it's, I could have better anticipated what's going on. Maybe I should have reasoned a little more. Maybe I should have disconnected, or maybe learned how to diffuse the situation, or maybe used humor in order to kind of make the situation not as wild as what it should have been, or not as crazy, or not as detrimental as what I'm making it out to be. So we have to learn to look at how we could work on ourselves, or maybe what we could have done differently, instead of looking at the immature mechanisms of blaming other people, or making excuses, or refusing to see things the way that they are, and falling into a complacent mindset instead of thinking, how could we have done something different? Ooh, that one's tough. That one's even tough for me when I talk about it. But we have to work on these mature defense mechanisms in order to build ourselves, and in order to have this personal development that we're working towards. So really think about that, because it's something I think about a lot. And when I think about these immature mechanisms, I always go back. One of my favorite shows, Guilty Pleasures, is Bar Rescue. I love to watch that show. John Taffer, I could watch it all the time. But every time he goes into a place, it's excuse after excuse after excuse. And he said, are you going to make excuses or are you going to make changes? Because those are the two options that you have. And you have to think about that and apply that to your own life. Am I going to make an excuse or blame other people or refuse to see the way that things are right now? Or am I going to change? Am I going to work towards being a better person? And the last thing I want to talk about is preparing yourself for complex challenges. If you are going to work towards taking control of your life, if you are going to work towards being the person that is in charge of your life, and that's what we're working towards today, right? You have to aim higher than everyone else is aiming. You have to aim for higher goals that require an investment in time. They require an investment in effort to enrich your life. Enrich your life in knowledge, in skills, in attitudes, and beliefs. You know, I always say every morning when we start Morning Kickstart, I encourage you to challenge or change your thoughts. That's what we have to do. We have to prepare for these complex challenges in order for us to challenge or change our thoughts. Do you want to live a very passionate and fulfilling life, or do you want to settle to be mediocre, to be comfortable? It's up to you. You are the person that makes those choices. So think about it. Prepare your life for complex challenges. Set yourself up to challenge yourself every single day and enrich yourself in knowledge and skills and attitudes and beliefs, and really figure out who you are. So I want you to take charge of your life today. I want you to expand who you are. I want you to activate these mature defense mechanisms. I want you to give yourself these reward mechanisms that are going to work for you. And I want you to prepare for complex challenges. Take charge of your life today and be different than everyone else around you. Hey, I want to thank you for coming to Morning Kickstart today. I want to thank you for taking time to invest in yourself and hopefully take something from today's episode and talk about it with others. Invest in others every opportunity that you can get, okay? So I want you to invite someone to Morning Kickstart today. I know I say this every single time, but I want you to invite your friends to Morning Kickstart. Go up to our Facebook private members only group, hit that invite button, and just invite 10 friends today. Or if you're listening on the podcast, subscribe to the podcast, share it with someone, send it in a text message and say, hey, I really think you could benefit from this today. And I always want you to remember, you can do hard things, you were made for more, and you have a purpose. I hope you have a wonderful Wednesday, Kickstarters, and as always, thank you for being a part of Morning Kickstart.